where you don't need an invite to join the conversation. Welcome to Add Me to the Group Chat. But carbs don't like my body. So I think that also, if I wasn't a diabetic, maybe I would think differently. Carbs do not like my body at all. And I'm going to leave y'all with this because I think this is so interesting, and I'm going to have to Google it maybe so I can quote it right. Brewery Syndrome. That's what I have. I literally feel like I've drank 2 cocktails. Crazy sauce, right? But it's called Brewery Syndrome, and you eat it and the potato breaks down into alcohol in your body. And I physically feel intoxicated. Half of a potato, y'all. Half. I feel intoxicated. And it's not really mashed potatoes. It's not really like French fries. It is a baked potato. Hey, you guys, welcome to Add Me to the Group Chat. I am Amber. I am really excited for this solo episode. You probably already know what's coming because you read everything. But this one's going to be a good one, and something that is kind of just like heavy on my heart because I am currently going through the motions of this. So I thought maybe this can just bring awareness. I'm not a professional at all, but I was like, let's just girl chat and let me tell you what's happening. And obviously, I think that you probably will have a lot of questions or concerns, maybe a little bit of like, yeah, I'm doing it too, whatever, because I've gotten so many of you guys chatting with me online about it. So, okay, if you don't know, let me just tell you what is happening. I am on Tirzepatide, and it's funny when I say that word because I have been saying it wrong online. But if you are here for grammar checks, I am not the girlie for you. Just FYI. I will say things wrong. That is just what it is. I actually am dyslexic, so that is something I've dealt with my whole entire life. It doesn't define me, but I just see things, hear things very differently, and just say things as I think that they need to be said. So it is what it is. But let me just give you let's go back a little bit on why I even wanted this shot and what it is. It is a GLP-1, and it's a compounded medicine that suppresses my appetite and food noise to allow me to drop some weight and to just feel better, feel better. Okay, so let's backtrack. I think it was right around like 37 years old. And I just started noticing, like, I'm like, it's not as easy to lose weight right now. You know what I mean? Like, I was just always aware of like, oh, I have to be very intentional right now to drop any weight. And I was able to drop weight. I was able to like really maintain a good like eating habit and things like that. But I went 5 years prior to that. I think it was still in 37 because it was last August when I was 38. So I would say, gosh, what would 5 years be? I mean, gosh, I'm not a mathematician either. So I'm trying to process this. So I think it would have been like 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. At 34 years old, I stopped eating meat, like meat from animals. Not protein, you guys. Like I was still getting protein intake in different ways, but like when it came to fish, to chicken, to beef, like all beef, pork, eggs, I stopped eating everything that had to do with an animal. And I went completely vegan. So I was eating raw vegetables, cooked vegetables, salad, cheeses. And then I got into maybe a year into doing that, I would get more like plant-based meats. So I tried plant-based hot dogs. I tried plant-based deli meats, and I was still eating breads, but I was just getting very creative. And then I would tap into, there was plant-based jerky, there was plant-based meatballs, plant-based hamburger, like ground beef. I would eat tofu. Like I dove into the vegan eating ways at 34 years old. And I did that because I was really grossed out by the process of meat, because my husband, he hunts deer, but I've never had venison before, and I'm just not interested in it, to be honest. Like, I'm like, it's cool. I'm just I'm just weirded out by animal like meat, you know? But I feel like because I grew up on beef and fish and chicken, like it doesn't really gross me out. But when I think about it, it just kind of like turns my stomach. So I saw my husband skinning a deer in our backyard, and that whole thing just like turned me completely, like I just turned around. I was like, nope, can't do it. Because being like such a visual person, I about like ate this mic. Being such a visual person, that's all I saw. If I saw meat on someone's plate, I thought, oh, that's how it got there. And it really turned my stomach, and it just made me feel nauseous, and I couldn't do it. So, I mean, it wasn't like a fluke thing. Like, I just want to do it to feel better. I did it because it was actually grossing me out. So I stopped eating meat. And so from 34 to 38, so of August of that year, this past August was a year, and we're in January now. So for a year in 4 months, 4-ish months, 3.5, 4 months. Yeah, because August, September, October, November, December. No. So a year and 6 months, I've been back on meat. And so the first thing I had when I got back on was steak. And something from 38 to 39, something about my body. So remember, like I was saying, like 37 years old, it's like I had to be very intentional if I wanted to drop pounds. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, wow. I remember, like, you know, your parents, your grandparents always would say, oh, it's not as easy, right? And you just kind of like, yeah. But when it hits you, it hits you. And so at 38, I was like, it's really weird. Like, I like feel like I need to get my health back. And a girlfriend of mine, she was actually on the podcast. Her name is Krista. We went through this whole phase of like, and we did it for months, but we were like, let's send each other pictures of our food. Like, let's make sure we're getting our protein in, and we're being physical and walking and doing all the things and active. So we did that, and I was getting all my protein in, like 90 to 110 grams of protein every day. And so that I felt really good about, because I was getting my protein intake. Also be mindful of, I have also been a type 1 diabetic since 2012. So I was like 37 years old when I was diagnosed as a diabetic. And so I've been dealing with like, oh, I have to manage my blood sugar. So I also have to be very mindful and very healthy. So on top of that, and then cutting out meat altogether, because if you don't realize this, when you are a type 1 diabetic, your pancreas produces 0 insulin. And so when you eat anything, it turns into sugar in your body. Bread, fruit, salad, like there's carbs in those things. It might be low carbs, high carbs, but carbs break it down into sugar in your body. And if your body doesn't produce insulin, it can't burn the sugar. So your bloodstream has sugar in it, which is very deadly and can make you very sick. And it's a whole thing, and it's actually like almost like life or death. So I was always like, wow, 27-year-old, now I'm having to figure this out. And we had lost my daughter. Alan and I had a baby girl. Her name was Tinley, but she didn't make it through the end of the pregnancy. She was 22 weeks. I was 22 weeks pregnant, and we had to give birth to her because she had passed away in the midst of them finding out I was a diabetic, because I got very deadly sick. Like it was either her or I or both of us, and she had passed, and I was on the verge of like losing my life. And so that all happened. So now I'm like trying to figure out, oh, I'm grieving a child, and I'm grieving a life I had, grieving a life I was going to have, all this stuff to like, now I have to keep myself alive. And then I got pregnant months later, had Maddox, And now I'm a new mom, like physically have a child, managing that and this new illness that I'm dealing with. So it's just a lot. So that's like my health journey. And I say all that because I'm very mindful of being healthy. I want to eat clean. I want to be healthy. I'm not this like gym rat where I just want to be in the gym all day and like build muscle and like be all this stuff. I've just never been that way, but I've always been physical. Like I don't mind, like I've had a gym membership since I was young. There was a gym locally that was like a women's gym, and I would go to that and loved it. Then I would go to the YMCA and work out with friends. I just did things. Like I wasn't into sports, but I was just physical, and I always maintained a good, healthy, like balance in a food relationship. So yes, do I love sugar? Yes, do I love things? Like, yeah, like I enjoy it and splurge in that, but it doesn't control me. So that's just a little backstory. So then when I got older, I'm like, okay, I need to add protein back into my diet, like sustainable protein. Like let me eat a piece of chicken or fish or steak and get the 30, 40, 50, 60 grams of protein in quick. And that will help my blood sugar, because if you eat meat, that does not spike your blood sugar. Protein's really good for me, for anyone, but for me in particular, being a diabetic. And so I was like, oh, okay, this will be really good for me. Something about me going through the phase of like 38 to 39 of adding the protein back into my diet, and because I was 38 turning 39, so the whole year of 39, adding the protein back into my diet, I was like, oh my gosh, why am I gaining weight? Why am I gaining weight? And I noticed it because of how my clothes fit. My arms were getting a little bit bigger. I never have had this beautiful jawline necessarily. So I noticed like, oh, I have 500 chins, like I joke about that. And us four as a family, like me, Alan, and the boys, I guess my motto of this is like, we don't talk about other people's bodies. We're not talking about like us, like to each other in a negative way. But if there are things we want to work on, then it's in a positive way. Like I want to be healthier. I want to lose a little bit of weight just to be a healthier person. I want to look better, like all these things. Like I think that's fine, but not in a negative way. Like I hate my body. I don't hate my body. I mean, even if I'm bigger, I would probably be annoyed. Like, yes, I was annoyed and I needed a quick fix. Like, what can I do? So I went through this whole transition of I added protein back in my diet. I was physically being more physical, working out in the gym, exercising, getting my cardio in. I was doing all these things, and I was still putting on freaking weight. And it was so obnoxious. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do? So one of my friends, she's also diabetic, type 1. She worked at like, I'm going to call it like a med spa, but it wasn't a med spa. It was like this medical place. And we would go get all of our blood work done, and we would go get IVs, and we would do all these things, and started peptides. And I started a peptide, which ultimately I figured this out later. I guess I didn't really wrap my head around it then because I was kind of annoyed at first, but I learned later what I was doing was I was on a peptide for muscle building. So when I am working out, I can just build muscle because I have like zero muscle in my body. It's more fat on my body. And then Alan got on semaglutide to help, manage weight. And so we just did all these things. We were like just mindful of just wanting to be healthy. So we did all this for months. Man, was it pricey. So I did my shot for 1 month, and then I was like, I'm not doing it again because I'm not in the gym like I should be. So I feel like it's a waste to the medicine, because it wasn't like a weight loss shot that I was on. It wasn't like helping me with food noise or anything like that. But I was like, I just want to drop weight, bump building muscle. I just want to drop weight. I just was like frustrated when you are in that phase of your life and you're gaining weight by eating the air that's around you. Like that's what it felt like. So I went from like around 135, 137 to like 140. And I was like, I've never been 140. What the crap? Like, I did gain a lot of weight, pregnancy weight, but that's different. You know, I got up to like 180 giving birth to my son, Cruz. And he was our last baby that we had. But like, so I was big. And then I went back down to like 130 something. And that took a minute, but got all that weight off or whatever and felt really good. But then I just was like putting it back on. So then finally hit like the scale of 140 and I was like, what the crap? I've never been 140 before. And so then I'm like doing all these things to like help either keep that weight or lose a couple pounds. Like I wasn't like starving myself. I'm still eating. I'm still trying to be active. I'm being mindful. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything different now. I'm 145. What? Now I'm 147, I'm 148, like over the scale of the year. I'm like, why? Why is this happening to me? And then I started realizing like my blood sugar would kind of be up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. My hormones were crazy. If you don't know, also, your body as a type 1 diabetic is so it's like, it's confusing. Let me just say, I'm like, how do I say this? It's confusing because blood sugar can spike because of hormones. So like if I am in a stressful environment because of something the kids are doing or work life or travel or just like something, I can spike my blood sugar. And so it was like, I'm on this emotional roller coaster because I'm just trying to raise children and run a business and trying to just stabilize constantly. And I just felt like I was constantly trying to like survive. So without really knowing, you know what I mean? But now the kids are a little bit older and I feel like we're at a good place, but now they just kind of bicker and I'm like, that's a lot. But I'm just like, Amber, if you don't get your health under control, you're going to lose control. And I already felt like I was out of control. And I just really got desperate. And so I was trying to contact the right doctor to get me this medication. And let me just say this. I have an endocrinologist that I've had from the beginning of my diagnosis. He's wonderful. Yes. Does it get on my nerves to go see my doctors? Yes. Are they brutally honest? Yes. Are they unapologetic? Yes. Are they kind? Yes. Like all the things. I think anybody that has an autoimmune disease or a type 1 diabetic, you understand the emotional roller coaster. You feel out of control and then sometimes you do feel in control and then you switch medications because your insurance won't cover certain medicines and then it's a battle with that, or you have medical supplies to keep up with monitoring your diabetes and your pumps and your syringes. And now you can't get your supplies. It's on back order or you can't get it because your insurance won't cover it. Oh, it's only been 90 days. Nope. It needs to be so many days before they can refill it. Like you have a malfunction. Like you are constantly trying to be an organ. Like that's really what it is. And that's how I have to wrap my head around it. I'm trying to actively survive, period, as a human, but I'm trying to act as though I'm an organ. I am a living pancreas for myself, and that is very exhausting. But something happened with insurance where we went from like one to this one, and like, if you're local, you'll know like Novant to Atrium. That may not make any sense to you depending on where you live, but it's like different providers or whatever. And so my endocrinologist was with a certain provider. And so I couldn't see him for like almost 2 years. And so I finally got back in with them. And so I would just like go a while and not go see them. So it took me a minute to get back in to go see my physical doctor. And when I did, he would be so booked up that I would be like, I'll just see the nurse practitioner at that doctor's office. And she was able to do my treatments and get my prescriptions and do everything. And it was fine. But she was not for, you know what? I would say this. It wasn't that no one was for getting me on Tirzepatide. They were more or less, I was like, well, insurance cover it because I knew the expense of it. And I don't think it was really this broad conversation of like, oh, there's these other outlets that you can get it online. That just started coming over the last year. And before that, it was like you had to go through your doctor. And so I just couldn't my insurance wouldn't cover it for me. And if they did, they were like, you have to use a certain brand, and it wasn't the best brand. It was like an off brand, and it just wasn't going to work as well. And I just didn't want to do that. I didn't want to mess around with that. And I'm like, if I am investing in this for my health, I want the best. So finally I got in with my endocrinologist and I asked him, and he was like, yep, I feel like that would be just fine for you. I'll write you the prescription and blah, 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 blah. So I could either pay out of pocket or run it through insurance, and my insurance wasn't going to touch it. So paying out of pocket was going to be like $1,200. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. So I'll have to pay $1,200 every month, whatever. But then I was like, I really don't want to do that, because if I'm on it, let's just say 6 months, but what if I need to be on it longer than that? So now that's what I'm paying every month. So then the woman at the pharmacy was like, oh, go through Lilly and get a coupon code or whatever. Lilly, I think they produce, like, I don't want to say like the real stuff, but the real stuff. And then these other companies online have like the compound of it, I believe. Don't quote me, but I think. So they were going to give me like $600 off the prescription. So it's going to cost me $600 every month. So I'm like, okay, let me do that. But I'm like, dang, do I still want to do that? Some people are getting it for like $150, $300. Like, I just feel like there's another way. So I think the more I spoke about it within that month, and I did a couple videos about it or something, it popped up on my feed. Of course, your phone listens to you. And I saw this ad come up from this company. And if you follow my short form, you'll know the company I'm talking about. But I just rather not say all these company names, but there are a lot out there that offer it. So if you're curious, just message me on the podcast, Instagram or my personal. And so I saw the ad and I clicked it, filled out the form, and got approved. And it was going to be like $370 or something like that for the medicine. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. And so I was like, we discussed it, Alan and I. He was good with it. I was good with it. I was like, all right, let's do this. And I was like, okay, these are the pros, is that Tirzepatide has really good feedback. Like, people get less sick on it. It's one of the best. If you're going to be on it, it's one of the best to get. And then this company was pairing it with vitamin B6, which helps with nausea. And so I was like, okay, this is going to be really beneficial. So I got it and started taking it. So for 9 weeks of taking it, oh, and by the way, my weight started at 159. I got up to 159, you guys. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how it even, you would think that I eat crap all the time and I just don't do anything. I don't know what was happening, but it was hormone related, and inflammation. So I got up to 159. Some days the scale said 160 and I was like, are we like doing this again? This is crazy. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to document the whole journey. I never documented it thinking, oh, a company's going to pick me up and, want to sponsor me or something like that. But I was like, that would be super dope if it happened. But I was like, I just want to document it because I know other women can feel discouraged and low about their self. And I want to share. And I am at this space in my life where I'm just unbothered by the noise online. I know I don't always look the best or, what. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm so confident in my own skin, regardless if I want to like shape up or whatever. I'm just am who I am. So I was like, I'm going to document it. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be real. If it takes off, it takes off, whatever, who cares? Or if it doesn't. So I started documenting it, and I will say for the first 9 weeks, I messed up and I was taking the wrong dosage. I know everybody's syringe and vial looks very different when you get it. So my vial was prescribed to me and written in the prescription, and I communicated as well with the physicians and everything like that, of taking 2.5 mgs, which would be 25 units. The syringe had 25 units written on it for a reason, because they had on the thing 25 units. But it's 2.5 mgs. I understand those are not the same. I understand that's not how the medicine works. But for me, understanding the syringe, I needed to know that. I just followed the 2.5 and I didn't read the syringe fully and see that it said units. And I should have really dug in deeper to this to make sure, okay, I'm taking my first shot. Am I doing it right? Whatever. But I just like followed the little black marks on the syringe and just took like 2.5. So I was like very, very minimal microdosing. But for those 9 weeks, I lost 5 pounds and the food noise stopped. I was still able to eat and still able to get my water intake in. So that was great. And I still lost 5 pounds. And I felt really good. My inflammation went away. Like within 2.5 weeks, my inflammation was gone. I was like, what? I was like, this medicine is awesome. Week 10, somebody had written, and by this time, I'm documenting like day 1, day 2, day 5, day 7, like whatever, like not every single day am I making some type of video on it, but I mean like every other day I was posting it that frequently. And so within that week, somebody said, are you sure units, mgs? Like what? I'm confused. So it kind of like red flagged my brain. And then that evening I saw a girl, another ad, and she was tinier than me. She was little, and she was like, I'm microdosing, and she filled her whole syringe up. And I was like, microdosing and her whole syringe is full? It's like, what? And I know every syringe is different and everybody's stuff is different depending on what you're taking too. But I was like, that's weird. So it made me think, I don't think I'm doing it right. So I went and got my vial out of the fridge. I went and got my syringe and I read everything again. Like I was like day 1, I was like, holy crap, Amber, you have been messing this up. And I had been like taking a third of what I should have been taking. And so I was like, okay, crap. Now I'm going in week 10. So what you normally do, everybody's different, but for me, mine was taking 2.5 mgs for 4 weeks, then going up to 5 mgs for 4 weeks, then going up to 7.5 for 4 weeks. So I was already on going to 7.5. So I was like, okay, I'm going to week 10. I need to take 7.5. I've not been taking the right amount. Let me take the right amount. Like, this is crazy. So before I could even process, oh, your body hasn't gotten used to this medicine fully yet, just take 2.5 this week. You know what I mean? Go down. I mean, go up from what you were doing, but not go as high. But I took the 7.5 because I was in the 10th week thinking, oh, take that because you're in the 10th week. Took it, whatever, put it in my thigh. Also, I had been doing it in my stomach the whole time. And also take my insulin injections every day. If you're curious, I'm not on a pump. I'm on I inject myself constantly throughout the day with insulin, and then at night. So I take shots all day, and I normally inject them in my stomach area because I find it more convenient to get to. I can literally pull my shirt up and go, and and it's done. And then I wear G7, so I wear like a monitor that helps me track my blood sugar constantly throughout the day, so I know what I'm at instead of pricking my finger. So I did get past that hurdle. I've been on 2 pumps in the past, and I just cannot bring myself to do a pump right now again. Maybe when I'm older, when other people are probably having to really help me manage my diabetes. But right now I just can't do it. Like all the cords and all the things, it was just so exhausting. And maybe by then they'll come out with something that, is not as crazy. So, but not, and when it malfunctioned, if I didn't have enough supplies, then I would be without medicine and insulin. It was just a whole roller coaster. I say all that because I do a lot of injections in my stomach. And so you just think for 13 years I've been doing this, I think I had just built up some insulin resistance. And there was a dude doing a video about it, and he was fairly in shape, but he was like, I don't inject the same place on my body because your body can build up, I kind of want to say like fat pockets almost that the insulin can't penetrate through. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that's why my stomach has gotten, because even after kids, yeah, my stomach was like loose, but it was never like pudgy. But now it's kind of gotten this like pudge. And I'm like, maybe it's because I inject there all this time and I built up this extra layer on my stomach from injecting. So now I'm like injecting everywhere. I'm injecting my thighs, my butt. I don't really do my arms. I find that my arms are so tender, but it just depends on where I'm at or what I'm wearing and things like that of where I inject. So I say that because the first 9 weeks of this Tirzepatide, I injected my stomach. So now I was like, oh, let me inject my thigh. And that 7.5 took me out. So I took it so again, going back, it was like the 10th. Oh, she sent it yesterday. Oh, shoot. Okay, I need to open that up. Sorry guys, an email I was reading. Let me process. I took the 7.5 going into the 10th week, and I took it like a Saturday morning. Saturday evening, I had eaten a little bit, and we laid on the couch. We were all watching a movie as a family, and I started feeling a little off, and I was like, oh, I just don't feel that good, but it's weird. Let me just go to bed. Like, I just kind of felt maybe because that medicine. I did not know it was going to knock me out like it did, but after I had taken it, my husband was like, you probably shouldn't have taken that much. Like, that probably wasn't smart. And I was like, oh, you're right. Why did I do that? And again, because I was like, oh, I'm in this week. Let me take this week or whatever. So that was a Saturday evening. In the middle of the night, I just kept feeling weird. Like, my head was feeling weird. I just kind of was feeling not good. The sun came up, you guys, and I had to get out of bed physically, go brush my teeth and wash my face. It took me like 30 minutes because my head hurt so bad. I couldn't even hardly open my eyes. Walked into my beauty room, and I was like, the sun, the light, my head hurts. And I was really still trying to like tell myself, I can get ready because it was Sunday morning. We were going to go to church. And I was like, I can do it. I'm just going to lay down for 20 minutes and just put on some like sweats and my hat and go. I'll be fine. I couldn't do it. I laid down. I was like, y'all, I can't even do it. I was trying to help my husband fix his hair because I'll do his hair. And I was squinting. The sun was like barely peeping through, but it was like so sensitive. And it took me to a place of like, oh, this is how people with migraines feel. Like, I've never had a migraine like that, but this was like, oh, this was bad. And I was like, I'm sure people with migraines, it's 10 times worse than this, but this was bad. So I laid in my bed. I took some ibuprofen. Ibuprofen didn't touch it. And I put the blanket. I have a heavy blanket. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep yawning. I put a heavy blanket over my eyes because it's like weighted, and kept my like nose and mouth out, and I passed out. Also, then I got up and I folded clothes because I'm like still trying to think like I need to do things. Things have to be done. I got up, got stuff out of the dryer, folded it, made me a water, put electrolytes in it. I was like, let me do that. Maybe that'll make me feel better. Nope. Vomit. Nope. Can't do it. So I was like, pour that out. Just made water. Got back in bed. I actually never vomited, but got back in the bed and went to sleep again. I was in bed that whole day Sunday until that night. My husband would be like, do you want something to eat? And he would name stuff. And I would be like, if you say one more food word, I'm going to hurl. Like, because it just made me feel like I can't do it. And then I was crying because I was like, I want to help with the kids. Like, I'm such a very hands-on mom. I'm like, I want to help with the kids. I should be helping with the kids. Like, I should be doing things. And so I just stayed in bed, took some more ibuprofen, went to sleep, woke up Monday morning. I did take a shower Sunday night, though. I did get a shower, lights off. And I was like, this is crazy. And just kind of like search things, and everything that I was searching, it was like, you're doing the right thing. You know, I think he had made me some broth. I took like one sip, couldn't even drink it. It was just like my body was going through it. And Monday morning I woke up and I was able to like I don't even think they took a lunch that day. They wanted to buy at school. They buy one day a week, and I'm like, whatever. So they did that day, packed their snacks, their bags, did all the things for the morning. And I just was very nauseous. I was really, really nauseous. And I was thinking, but I can do this. We're better. It's not the headache. Now I'm just nauseous. Took them to school, drove back home because I had a meeting. And after that meeting, I was talking so much. It was a 30-minute meeting. But I was talking. That made me feel nauseous. And I was like, I got to go to bed. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I can take Dramamine. So I got that, and I have like a non-drowsy chewable tablet. I took it, and I just went to sleep, and I slept for like 2 hours. I woke up, and then my husband was like, I'm going to pick them up from school. So that allowed me to rest longer. He picked him up from school, got home. I was still a little nauseous, but I was like, I can function, but I could not smell food. That was the thing. Like, we cooked dinner, they were doing their thing, and they sat to eat. And I was like, I got to go to the other room. I'm going to go and take my shower. Y'all finish eating. I can't smell anything. And so I was like, I had my shirt like that. I was like, I can't do it. Tuesday, woke up, took him to school, did everything. Headache was gone. Nausea was gone. I was just tired. So physically tired. Took him to school, dropped him off. In the 3 years that I had been like dropping them off and like working from my vehicle most days, I've never taken a nap in my truck. Never. I'm constantly working. I'm editing. I'm working. I'm doing website stuff. 3 days a week I do stuff like that. And 2 days a week I record a ton of content. And so I'm just working on stuff like that or having meetings in the vehicle. And I was like, oh, I'm going to literally pass out. So I parked the truck. I was out for like 2-3 hours. Took a good nap. I was like, I've never done that. That's crazy. So then that was Tuesday. Wednesday, I just felt like, okay, I'm back, but I'm not back. I didn't want coffee. Like, it was just wild. So if you do like take too much too fast, that's how it affected my body. That was the Tirzepatide. So that's how it affected me. I don't know how it will affect you, but that's my story. And I just wanted to be open and share that with you. So then the following week when it was time for my next shot, I went back to 2.5. I just was like, let me take 2.5 and see. The food noise is gone. My appetite is good. Like, I can eat. I really couldn't eat on that 7.5. So I originally had dropped 5 pounds. I dropped 7 pounds that week. Immediately I dropped 5 because this medicine, yes, it eliminates the food noise, but it like dissolves the fat in your body. Like, it's literally burning the fat in your body. It's crazy. So I had dropped like 7 pounds. And so by the time it was time for my 2.5, I was already down 14 pounds. So I had actually dropped more than that. So crazy. So I was like, okay, now I'm down 14 pounds. That's where I'm still at. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do 2.5 mg. So I did that this week, and I'm about to do a shot tomorrow. And I think I'm going to go to 5 because the 2.5, like, I'm able to eat, which is good. The appetite is fine. Water intake is fine. I just feel like my normal self, to be honest, but I didn't lose any weight. So I really have a goal to drop, let me tell you, I think 23 more pounds because I started at 159. If I lost 14, that would be 145. So that's where I'm at right now. I want to get down to like 125. So that's 20 more pounds, actually, I need to lose. So if you take that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it'll come, but I just have, y'all probably don't see the weight, but the weight is like in my arms physically, in my waistline, and in my thighs. But my son said this past week, I had on leggings and like a sweatshirt that I hadn't worn recently because I just didn't like it on me, but it's really cute. It's like a little crop top. So I pull my leggings up and it just kind of like stops at my waistline. And I walked into the kitchen and he was like, Mom, you look good. And I was like, what? What? And the lights are off in the morning. Like, it's dim, it's calm, And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, I can tell you've lost weight. And he's my 12-year-old. He's my oldest. And I'm just like, Maddox, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that, that he noticed. They know I'm so open. We are such an open family that I'm like, this is what mommy's doing. I want y'all to know how it works and why I'm doing it. All these things, because it's such a way, like, it can have a negative connotation to it, but I'm like, no, this is a positive. Like, this is for me being my best self and like living a longer life, like having more, just health and wellness conversations with our children. And so then I got home that day and I was like, let me check myself out in the mirror in this outfit. What is he seeing that I'm not really seeing? Like, I feel good, But I know I've lost weight and I know I can tell, but what is he seeing? I stand straight in the mirror and my thighs are not touching. Like they're kind of, but not really. And then I turn to the side and like the waistline you can tell is like smaller. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see what he sees. Like, this is so cool. And I was like, this is what I wanted. I feel like I'm getting my body back, and that feels really nice. And so that afternoon we have a mirror at the end of our hallway and he's like doing whatever in the mirror. And he was like, Mom, your waist, like your stomach and your thighs, so much smaller. He's like, you look really good. He said it again to me. I was like, Maddox. I was like, boy, I was like, look at me go. Yes, yes. And I'm just like, that's really cool. That's positive. And so we have a gym at the house and they're just getting at this age where they're just like, they want to be fit and they want to be healthy. And, I'm just, I just think it's really cool and good. And I'm happy about it. And this is not a medication that I'm thinking I'm going to be on for the rest of my life, but definitely maybe like small doses of it because these are the pros and the cons. The pro to me being on it is that it's managing my sugar levels are more controlled. Like when I tell you I don't feel out of control anymore, I feel so in control. That makes me so happy. So it's just lowered that like high, low type thing. And this week going back to 2.5 actually did kind of screw me up a little bit, but it has, it's definitely gotten better. And then the other pro to it is that my inflammation. So being inflamed and water weight and all that in your body hurting, my body does not hurt. It feels really good. Really, really, really good. That's the second pro. And the third pro is dropping weight and getting back into clothes in my closet that I can actually wear. I have a lot of clothes. I would say I have just like a generous amount of things. I wear like the same 20 items, like I just rotate. I have a capsule wardrobe that I have my 3 to 4-ish colors that I like to rotate through, and I can mix match a ton of stuff and create different outfits, and I love it, So that's really what I enjoy about my closet. But there's things that I have that I would love to wear again, and I'm like, we got to do something about that. And so that feels really nice. The cons to it is there's an expense every month. So it's just something else added to your budget that you're going to have to be very aware of, and just know that it's going to be okay. Do it if you can do it, Another con is that I've heard this and I'm kind of like, ooh, it kind of is right. It's almost like a self-induced eating disorder that you are doing to yourself, like a medical induced eating disorder. So when you think of like anorexia or being bulimic, so bulimic is you're throwing up your food. Anorexia is you're just not eating your food. You don't have good relationships with food, period. I can see how that definitely seems that way. So, but it's shutting the food noise off. So you're not like, oh, I want to eat, but I'm not going to eat. You know what I mean? So I haven't thrown up on this medication, but if I overate in general and ate things that were not healthy for my body, 100% I probably would have already vomited. But I don't overeat in general, and I don't eat a lot of sugary things in general or greasy food. So I do know if you eat greasy food and you eat a lot of sugar on this medication, you will get sick. So I don't do that. Some people have been hospitalized because of it. I don't foresee that happening to me, which I'm grateful for. And knock on wood, that never happens. So if I'm hospitalized for anything, it's probably my diabetes. But I hope that doesn't ever happen again because that is horrible. And I just... yeah, so another con is that. And I'm like, okay, this medicine is not new to the market. You need to do your own research. Please don't take what I'm taking and run with it. But it's not new to the market. It's been around forever. It's just become this new like fat shot. Do you know what I mean? That people talk about. And so if you're taking it because you really do have a bad relationship with food and you can't control it, I think it would be good for you because it does shut that off and it allows you to understand there's more to life than just like food. I Some people, I've said this from day one before I even knew this medicine existed. Me and my girlfriends would have these conversations, but it would be like, what is it? Now I'm like, what do I say? I don't live to eat. I eat to live. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're living to eat, like your day is structured around food, I don't see how that is productive unless you're like a food connoisseur and this is what you do for work is foodie. You're just a foodie. Cool. I love that. Like I can see how you can take that in a negative or positive spin, right? But I eat to live. Like I am eating food because it actually fuels my body for me to survive, period. So I'm not like, oh, but do I love snacks? Yes, love snacks, like love it. And I enjoy when I eat a plate of food. Like I love food, like yummy. But I am eating because I know I need to eat this, because it's good for me. But I will say this too, is that I am not a sugary person. I'm a carby person, but carbs don't like my body. So I think that also, if I wasn't a diabetic, maybe I would think differently. Carbs do not like my body at all. And I'm going to leave y'all with this because I think this is so interesting and I'm going to have to Google it maybe so I can quote it right. But I am, what am I going to Google? Okay. What was I going to tell y'all? I love carbs. I love bag of chips with dip. Love that. Love like little bite-sized carby things. I think they're delicious. Also love mashed potatoes. It's probably my top favorite food ever is mashed potatoes, but they do not like me. But I have to think about what to say. What is it called? I'm typing this in Google. What is it called when potatoes break down in your body as alcohol? Brewery Syndrome. That's what I have. Y'all are probably gonna think, what? So anytime I eat a baked potato, anytime, and it really comes from potatoes, I literally feel like I've drank 2 cocktails. Crazy sauce, right? It does something to my body that it is unbelievable. If you have this, I want to know. But it's called Brewery Syndrome. And you eat it and the potato breaks down into alcohol in your body. And I physically feel intoxicated. Half of a potato, y'all. Half. I feel intoxicated. And it's not really mashed potatoes. It's not really like French fries. It is a baked potato. And carbs do like make me feel like, woo, crazy because I am like, I can feel it in my body. But like baked potatoes are really like 100%. I have had 2 cocktails. I am drunk. Give me a breathalyzer right now. I cannot drive. I can't do it. Because it literally makes my head, my body, my face feel like I just had 2 cocktails. It's crazy. So I'm curious if you have this, but it's called Brewery Syndrome. I actually brought this up years ago to my, and it's funny. This is how it started. I had a conversation with Courage and Olivia. We were at the studio, so this was a while back. And I was like, every time I eat a baked potato, I feel drunk. And they're like, what? Crazy. Like, we would just have these conversations. They're like, crazy, crazy, crazy. And then a video popped up on Courage's feed or something, and it said, this guy was talking about I think he got pulled over and he got a DUI. And he was like, I've not been drinking, but he had a baked potato. He had potatoes. And that's how he found out he had Brewery Syndrome. And I was like, no joke, I need to eat a potato and blow and just see what happens, because I can 100% tell you, they would be like, you've been having alcohol, because it breaks down into alcohol in your body. So I'm going to leave you with that, you guys. Crazy. So that's how I know it exists. But I brought it up to my endocrinologist and he's like, I've never heard of it. And I was like, well, I have it. So there you go. Really, really crazy stuff, you guys. So I am on Tirzepatide. Follow my short form content if you do want to see like my personal stuff. I know this is the podcast, but if you want to see anything about my day-to-day tracking, all that stuff, I talk about it there, and I'll probably talk about it for a long time. I do love the beauty industry. So I do have my own body care line. Like Butter is my personal brand. So we have scrubs, body butter, soaps, a fragrance mist for your body, things like that. And it's in this whole growth phase. 26 is going to be so cool for the brand. I'm very excited. So every woman needs a reset. So just reset yourself. You need to take care of yourself, focus in on that. So go check out that content too. If you're into like, oh, what does Amber do? Like actually for work, I do make content, but I make it around my personal brand, and myself, my personal brand, and my body care line, Like Butter. So you can go check all that out. Everything's linked in the show notes, you guys. Thank y'all for being here. You mean a lot to me. Very grateful to have the platforms that I do have as they are evolving and growing. And I'm excited for 26. So yay. Thank you. And I will see you in the next upload. Good luck with your health journey, what you're going through. Again, I don't know everything. I'm just here to like tell my personal story. So I hope this was helpful and kind of opened your eyes to some things. But if you're interested in what I use, just DM me, reach out to me, and I'll tell you kind of where I go and grab all my things. So, all right, I will see y'all later. Toodles.